Hi parents, my name is Felicia Wright, and in this video I want to talk about the teacher shortage and what you can do as a parent if you're concerned about your child's education. So I felt it was important to make this video because as parents, most parents don't really know what's going on within a school. You take your kid to school, they're there for a couple hours, you pick them up, and then you ask your kid, "What you do today?" "Oh, nothing," So I really wanted to discuss from a teacher's point of view, like what's going on, why the teacher shortage is happening, because I'm a part of that. I left this district in 2018 because I had had enough, and I didn't feel like we were doing what was best for children. So I want to talk about why I left and what you can do as a parent. So one of the main reasons I left was we were expected to do more with less. And what I mean by less is less time to get all these things done, because there's a lot of things that teachers do that you wouldn't think that they're doing unless you're in the industry, and there is things that they do that you just never see. So for example, like cleaning up the classroom, sharpening pencils, preparing the lesson plans, all the things we have to submit to admin about what we're doing, compiling data, analyzing the data, all these different things. So that stuff takes time. And I found that with each passing year, more and more of my time was taken. And my time was taken by meetings, a lot of them unnecessary. It could have been an email, but whatever. Meetings, splitting classes. So what we would do, because there's not enough subs in the district, we would split classes. So I was on the first grade team. I taught first and fourth, and I helped in some other grades. But so in any given year, first grade team, say one of the first grade teachers missed the day, had to call in sick or whatever, and couldn't find a sub, which is very common. Finding subs is extremely hard. There are no subs pretty much. But anyway, so we would have to split that person's class. So between the five of us at one class, or excuse me, between the four of us at one classroom, we split. So then I would get an additional like 10 kids or 7 kids in my classroom. And mind you, I would have them all day. I wouldn't have any of their work. It's in their desk, and I don't know where they're at. And what I mean by that is, like, granted, we're all lesson planning together, but I don't know what the teacher taught them, how far into the lesson they are. And I don't know anything about these kids because they're not in my classroom. So that was really difficult. We'd also have to sell our preps, meaning that a teacher from another grade level couldn't find a sub. And when I have prep to plan for all this stuff, I would have to drop off my kids at specials for my 50 minutes, hopefully go to the bathroom, run, go watch that classroom, and then come back. And those days when kids, when they're having teacher after teacher come in there, that happens pretty frequently, and they're not learning anything, because I literally would be in there for 50 minutes and I'm like, okay, what are you guys doing? And most of the time, kids aren't helpful. They don't want to do anything. So you look through the teacher's plans, and it's hard to decipher what the last teacher did before you got there, and you're only there for 50 minutes. So they're losing a lot of instructional time. They're losing a whole day of instructional time when these things occur. And the reason why I want to talk about that is because most of the time, parents don't know this stuff's happening unless you have a stellar kid that's like, "Guess what, mommy? Guess what happened today?" Because most of the time kids are like, "Yeah, we had a good time. We had a sub." When actually they had like 6 subs in one day. And that was one of the reasons why I left. I was like, these kids are losing so much instructional time. I'm losing time to even get ready to teach my own classroom, and it's just expected. And that was a teacher shortage back in 2016, 17, 18. Teacher shortage and a shortage. It's a hard word to say. So that was really difficult. I also felt like I was being micromanaged. So in order to teach, you have to have a degree. You have to have a degree in education to teach. And at this time, one of the schools I taught at was very clear. She was like, you all have to be teaching from this curriculum, from a script, verbatim. You read what it says in there. And you all, and by all I mean all the teachers on the first grade team, all need to be on the exact same page on the same day. So she literally told us, the principal, she's like, I should be able to walk into the first grade class, the second, the third, the fourth, and see the progression of the same lesson being taught the whole way through. And at face value, it's like, okay, well, we're all working together. We're all teaching the same thing. But when you're in the thick of it, what happens is not all classrooms move the same and not all teachers teach the same. So if my classroom had to stop and go over a lesson again, or we spent a little bit more time on a lesson, it was looked down upon and we'd get in trouble. It's like, oh, you weren't on the lesson plan you were supposed to be on, or you taught that too slow, or you taught that too fast. And as a teacher, I move with the pace of my classroom. And if you're off pace from the other teachers, that was the problem. Not so much that you were on pace with your kids. It was like, no, you all need to be on pace. And I had a hard time dealing with that. I was like, well, if you want us to teach from a book and you want us to follow this lesson plan and you want us to follow this script, why did I get a degree again? I don't know. So that was a hard part for me. I was like, well, we don't even have the ability to explore something as a classroom. One time my class wanted to learn about the Titanic because we were doing something, and we spent a little bit more time with a Titanic unit. So that stuff's frowned upon. And I was like, well, I didn't get into teaching to, be a robot. I got into teaching to help children learn and help them enjoy learning. So being micromanaged was another part. And then also pay. Pay was awful. Pay, especially out here in the state of Nevada, pay is constantly being frozen. They will freeze pay for a year, 2 years at a time, and there's just no upward mobility. So I decided to leave, and I was like, you know what? I've had enough of this. This isn't for me. I don't want to do this anymore. And it turns out, when you read all these articles about why teachers are leaving, it's all why I left, actually. It's low pay, frozen pay, being micromanaged, not having enough time to do all the things we're expected to do. So that is why I left in 2018. And a lot of teachers are leaving, and things have gotten way worse for teachers in 2021. I know quite a few teachers that have since left after I left, teachers I never thought in a million years would leave the profession. And then I just saw one of my old high school friends say she's considering leaving. And I never thought in a million years she'd ever leave education, ever. So it's really, really hard. And I wanted to talk about these things because parents don't know this is going on. And you need to know why this is happening and what's going on in these schools so you can make an informed decision, because it's your decision about what you want to do with your kid, but you need to know what's happening so you can actually make a real informed decision. So these are some of the things I think parents can do to help, and what you can do for yourself and for your family. I don't believe that parents can really impact a ton of change at this point in time, because this teacher shortage has been going on for years and they haven't done anything about it. And by they, I mean school boards. So, you can talk to your school board. It's worth a shot, but quite frankly, I don't think they're going to do anything about it. I also think that if your kid's in school right now, just being there as a support system for your kid's teacher will help tremendously, because at the end of the day, you don't want your kid to not have their teacher anymore, which is a strong possibility. When I started teaching, I was a student teacher and at a school, and a teacher just got up and walked out. She dropped off her keys on the weekend and was like, I'm out. And suddenly those kids didn't have a teacher. 2 months into the school year, she quit, and the principal did some magic, and she moved me into there. So I finished my school teaching in this 4th grade class. But before they got me in there, they had a slew of substitutes, substitute after substitute after substitute after substitute. So they lost a whole lot of instruction because that teacher left. And I know lots of teachers that are just like, you know what? I quit. Like, I can't even make it to Christmas break. I can't make it to the end of the school year. It's not even worth it anymore. So being a support system for your child's teacher can really help that teacher throughout that school year, and hopefully they don't leave on you. And then the last part is, if you are concerned about your child's education, I would suggest homeschooling them, because you don't know what's going on in the school. You don't know how many times your child has had to be split up into another classroom. You don't know how many times that they've had like different subs. They may have had a sub, but it could have been like where they brought in a different teacher every hour, because that happens frequently. So consider homeschooling your kid. These are some of the things that you can do, because if you are thinking like, oh, I can't teach my own kid, like it's going to be too difficult, like I would venture to say that they're not missing too much by being in public school. Granted, every school is different, but I'll leave some links in the description below. There's lots of schools that are canceling days of school because they don't have enough substitutes. There's schools that are still doing online, not because of the pandemic, but because they don't have enough teachers. So this is something that parents really need to start considering and start thinking about, because it's happening whether we know about it or not as parents. And I want to make sure that parents know about this. So I hope that video is helpful. I feel like this is kind of long and rambly, but yeah, I think that everybody needs to know these things and know what's going on in these schools, because you just don't know. So I hope that was helpful. If you need help homeschooling, you can contact me. I have a link in the description below, education consultation call, where you get to talk to me directly. I also have a homeschooling jumpstart guide in the description below, and some other resources as well. So I hope that was helpful. Please like and subscribe to this video, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.